All right, welcome everybody. My name is Deborah King and I'm the art therapist at JFCS. And today the theme is going to be, oh boy, achievement, to achieve something. It's something that everyone does. That's the thing that I want you to keep in mind is where you are right now has already come with so many achievements. And sometimes we just focus on achievements in the future, and it could get overwhelming. It could, turn into self-doubt, like I haven't achieved anything, what's going on? Maybe discouragement. But up until now, you all have achieved so much. So I want you to keep that in the back of your mind as we're talking about goals and reviewing the material today. And as always, we're going to tap into the art making. If you don't have the art supplies right now, that's okay. Also, if you just have a pencil and paper, that is great as a way to start to sketch out your ideas. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start with a little slideshow just to get us seeing some things and visualizing some of this, and so we're all on the same page. Okay. Community guidelines, try your best to just be present. That means put aside all distractions. I know it's so hard, cell phones, people at home. Just try to really be present. This is your time for yourself. This is your time. This is about you. Try your best to enjoy this process, even if it comes with some frustration. Welcome those moments of frustration, and if they come up. And also, just be ready as you can be with your art supplies, with your, charger, like things like that. If anybody shares anything, just try your best to really be kind. I always tell myself before I'm about to say something, if that thing was said to me, would I like it? That's something that really helps me, right? So, approach each other from that that kindness kind of place. And all of this combined, I think, creates a really good, safe space for expression. Purpose of making art, we're just going to go through these really quickly just to refresh. It's a way to learn a new skill, get creative. A part of creativity is also about problem solving. Art making can be used as a coping skill. It could also help communicate your thoughts and ideas with others in a different way than just words. And it can be a mindfulness type of activity, anxiety reducing, so similar to that coping skill right there. Achievement, lesson 4, here we are. These are the list of supplies for today. I wrote it in the chat, and here they are again. Pen, pencils, and paper are optional, or if you don't have the other supplies, you could just stick with these. Acrylic pens, small flower pot, pipe cleaners, model magic or modeling clay, and scissors are optional. You can do these things without scissors. You have to be creative. So, if you can't find scissors right now, that's fine. Before we get started with the art making, I just wanted to share this GROW coaching model to reach goals. And I thought it was cool because, we have the flower pots. We're going to be creating flowers type of thing with the pipe cleaners. So I thought it was a really cool kind of metaphor that goes hand in hand. So it actually starts at the bottom with creating a goal, which is probably one of the hardest things. So it has a little reminder of, what to do in this step. What do you actually want to achieve? What is the ideal? What are your objectives? So this part really requires a lot of brainstorming, I think. Sitting down and writing all the different goals that you have, and then breaking it down. I think the reality is breaking it down. So you might want to be a scientist, but is it realistic that you'll be a scientist tomorrow? No. So you would have to, create a reality. So maybe you would break it down to a smaller goal, like for instance, join STEM. I think it's called STEM. It's like a science program for high schoolers. So, you know, what do you have to do to join STEM? Then you would look up their requirements. You would look up whether your grades qualify. If they don't, you would maybe get a tutor. Maybe your first goal would be to get a tutor in science. Or, you know, maybe you're not so good at gym class, so you have to apply yourself in gym class to get the grades to get to STEM. So this is the reality part, is really, I think, where you're going to go inward and ask yourself all these questions, but also ask other people, you know, other people that maybe have already become a scientist. What was their process like? This goes into options. So GRO, so we're in O, options. And this is similar to reality. So who, you know, who can help you? What is it that you actually need? And it also says, what can you do to bridge the gap? I think what that means is, well, if my achievement is a really big achievement, how can I break it down? Just how I just described right now. And again, it shares brainstorm. I think all of these steps require a lot of brainstorming. And then W is for way forward. So what are the actual actions? This is when you get very to the bottom of it, right? Like, what are the actual steps? Can you commit to these steps? This also goes back to reality. You know, if you have other responsibilities after school, is it realistic that you could put in all this time to join STEM? So, you know, things like that. So you have to maybe budget your time, create an action step. I think creating smaller steps, smaller goals is a good idea, because it's going to help you feel like you're achieving things every step of the way. Okay. And it's like baby steps. So before a baby learns to run and jump, they're crawling, they're, you know, you know, that it's an evolution. You can't just jump over to the end. It's like mini steps that build up over time. And each time you're going to feel more confident about yourself. And like, you got this, you know, I got this. I'm going to achieve my goal, my end goal. Okay. And by the way, once you do become a scientist, because I'm using that idea, then you'll have other career goals. It doesn't end there. It just keeps going. So that's the cool thing about this. It just keeps going. So here we have, you know, speak about all this talk about brainstorm. So we're going to have a little brainstorm time. For those of you that joined us last week, we did the puzzles. So I thought that this image is really cool, because it's like two people and all the roots and all the knowledge that they have, they each have, and putting them together. It's like a puzzle within the faces. So I thought visually this was very captivating. So brainstorming. First, I welcome you guys to obviously brainstorm in the chat, or, you know, share in the chat, or, you know, raise your hands, unmute yourselves, and also share out loud, but definitely also write about these different things that I have on this slide. If you could write these down, because we might not have time to get through all of them right now. So past, we're gonna reminisce about the past. Write about a time when you were a kid and you felt so proud of yourself. So the first thing that comes to mind, it could be the smallest thing. Okay, what's something that comes to mind? I see Caitlin wrote in the chat, I love doing puzzles. You loved doing the puzzles last week? Cool. Actually, doing puzzles could be very satisfying, and it could come back to us feeling like we achieved a lot. Melissa wrote, when I got the training wheels off of my bike, definitely. I won camper of the week when I was 10 at summer camp. That's awesome. So hold on to that feeling. What was that like? You know, write about just like anything. You guys know how to do brainstorms. Anything that comes to mind. You could say happy, you know, list all your friends that were happy for you, list what, you know, who you called or who you talked to, you know, so then just keep the brainstorm going. Let's see, what else do we have here? Getting my first tooth out. Yes. Was it like a wiggly tooth that just came out on its own, or was it like getting through a procedure?
So it was an interesting experience. My dad decided to tie the tooth to a little car, a little machine car that he had, and drove off with it. So the tooth kind of plopped out and rode into the sunset with the car.
Rode into the sunset. That is hilarious. I feel like that's the beginning of like a children's book. Like, I think there's a lot there. Yes, awesome. I love all these ideas. Kayla also said that I still have the plaque. That's awesome. When I made my first rubber band bracelet. Oh, those, I feel like I learned how to do that. And if you ask me how to do it now, I cannot do it. Can you still do it? AC? Not crying when I got a needle. Yeah, that's a big one. Like even recognizing like, hey, maybe last year when I got a needle, I was crying, and now like I could cope with this. I got this under control. Definitely. Okay, so that was awesome. You guys really just tapped into that feeling of feeling proud of yourself, feeling like you achieved something. And like I said, every step of the way, you're achieving things left and right. It's sometimes I think we just don't acknowledge it. So, you know, so make it an effort to acknowledge it for yourselves. And this is where we're going to go to present time today. What is something that is already blooming about yourself or blossoming? Can I make that thing grow even bigger? So what is something, you know, I could use myself, like as far as my career, it's already something that's happening. I'm an art therapist, but can I make it even bigger? You guys want to have me on a podcast? No. Can I write a blog? You know, can I make it even bigger? Like maybe I just need a new goal within my art therapy, you know? So that's just an example for myself. Melissa, thanks for sharing. My confidence. Yeah, you've got confidence, but can I make it even bigger? Definitely. And then thinking about, well, what is it that I want to make bigger? I'm proud of myself now. Ooh, it just went up. I'm proud of myself now that I'm learning to put myself first and not feel bad about it. Yeah, definitely. Because sometimes putting yourself first could feel guilty, right? It could come with some guilty feelings. So maybe like brainstorming with yourself, like, well, what else can I do to, you know, even give myself more time to myself, you know, without the feeling of guilt. Caitlin also said my self-confidence. I can make it bigger by doing more things that I've never done. Yeah, trying different things, Melissa. Awesome. I love all these ideas. I'm proud of myself for being a lawyer for mock trial, and I can try super hard to win competitions this season. That's amazing. I did mock trial before when I was in high school. It's really a great experience to learn, but also like to tap into your creativity of being an actress or actor. And on top of it, I think, you know, public speaking, I mean, it's really, really great. So yeah, so then you could try to win other different competitions, or like I just kind of mentioned, you know, acting might not be your cup of tea, but it might be something that you think to yourself, you know, maybe if I did an acting class that's like a more like fun acting class type of thing, I could apply, I could complete it and then use the skills for the mock trial. So it's like thinking about everything that you are doing right now could turn into more things. It's exciting to have this motivation. Really great feedback on the chat. I love it. And now what is something that I'm going to achieve? Future. So all these little goals could lead into your big goal, or maybe your little goals just stay where they are, right? And that's okay too. But you know, I think I want to acknowledge that a lot of you, given your age, given that you're in high school, there's a lot of pressure. Like, what are you going to be when you grow up? It's like, oh, can I just be a kid and just deal with what's happening now? So it's frustrating. It could be really frustrating. You could lose motivation, and that's okay. You know, as long as you have somebody there to talk to you about, you know, and guide you, you know, you have a support system if those things come up. But so if you don't want to focus so much on something that you're going to achieve, like if that's too hard, you could just not do that right now. But if you want to, if you have a clear idea, like, you know, I want to be a teacher, that's something I really want to achieve, like career wise, then you could also go for that. So this is entirely up to you. What do I want to do for the rest of my life? I know it's a very scary question. By the way, some people start a career and then it's not for the rest of your life. Sometimes you might be doing something for 10 years and then suddenly you start to work towards something else. Okay, so I've known many people that I've worked with that have changed their career paths. So you never know, you know, it's not a life sentence. It's whatever makes you feel good, you know, and proud, and you know, you would know how to tap into that feeling, like, you know, I need something else if that time came. So, all right, well, thank you all so much for brainstorming about this. I hope that you had time to write it down so you could always write more about these three different categories here, these three different questions. We're going to inspire ourselves a little bit here with looking at some inspirational quotes. All the flowers of all the tomorrows are in the seeds of today. This is an Indian proverb. All the flowers of all the tomorrows are in the seeds of today. So what you do now is eventually going to blossom in the future. Like it's not there yet. It's like it's something that we need to cultivate. I love the idea of the metaphor of a seed blossoming. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. Robert Stevenson. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. So what this means is, like right now, like if you think of a garden, your garden might be totally empty. You might not have many things to pull from. Like you might not see it yet because you have to plant those seeds now. So it's like, you know, it might, and sometimes it might feel really, you know, you might feel really vulnerable, like acknowledging that. You might also, this one I think is really important because you might compare yourself to other people. Like, hey, that person already accomplished A, B, and C, and I'm the same age as that person, and I haven't won the competition, or I haven't, you know, been selected to a school or something. So it's okay. Focus on yourself. Know that you can keep on planting different seeds, different goals that will eventually blossom. And another thing to keep in mind with this metaphor is that different flowers blossom, and flowers and vegetables and all that, crops blossom at different speeds. So, you know, so for someone else, their garden may be blossoming because that's just how their blossom works. And for you know, you or for myself, it might be a little different. Maybe half of the garden is there, not all of it, but the seeds are there. And that's what's important. For a seed to achieve its greatest expression, it must come completely undone. The shell cracks, its insides come out, and everything changes. To someone who doesn't understand growth, it would look like a complete destruction. Cynthia Ocelli. So, wow, this is very similar to the idea of a butterfly and a cocoon and a metamorphosis that I'm sure you guys are familiar with. Same thing with the seed. A seed is like a little tiny round thing, oval thing or whatever. And then as it's growing, it cracks, it breaks. And if we, let's pretend we're scientists and we were looking at this for the first time without any knowledge that it was a seed, we might say, oh, this is broken. It's, you know, cracking, it's broken, but really it's changing. So there's gonna, I think what this reminds me of is as you're growing, there's gonna be some things that maybe don't seem like, you know, seem like they're cracking or seem like they're broken, like breaking. Sometimes things are not gonna go so well. So sometimes you might get a bad grade, right? Or, you know, sometimes these things will happen on a test or, you know, sometimes everything is going well, but then your friend is having like a real big problem. And then suddenly that takes your attention away and it makes you feel all these like bad feelings. And then you're like, like, how do I now focus on myself? But you'll go through these changes, you know, you'll go through these different things. But just take it with a grain of salt because it's going to get better. It's going to eventually still blossom. And this is another really, really powerful one. And the final one, whatever you feed will grow. Faith or fear, worry or confidence, doubt or belief. It's your choice what grows. This is also key because gardens have a lot of weeds. There could be pests in a garden if you think about the metaphor of a garden. So yes, so some negative things could also grow. And it's like a feedback loop. If you're constantly having self-doubt, oh, I can't do that, I can't do this, I'm not good enough for this. Well, that's what you're feeding is the negative stuff. And then 2 months down the line, you're gonna not feel that great. You're gonna maybe feel worse. And then a year down the line, you might even feel worse. You might have really not achieved your goals. It's all about changing it completely. Instead of letting that negative feedback go and grow, it's changing it to a positive feedback and acknowledging when you're doing well. Sometimes that negative feedback is tricky because the person is not even seeing what they're doing that's well. So, because they're so stuck on like just the negative self-talk and doubt, self-doubt. So know that you could change it around. Whatever you feed will grow. Faith or fear, worry or confidence, doubt or belief. It's your choice what grows. So that is my question to you is what do you want to grow? So here's an example of just a little sketch. So those of you that don't have the supplies yet, this is something you can do. You could make it your own. You don't have to, you know, copy what I did. So I have here, I think I can't see the screen. I think I wrote family time. And what's going to grow from there is a strong family. I actually made it 4 because there's 4 people, like 4 little petals, because there's 4 people in my family. So it does relate to me. Being kind to myself, what am I going to get from that? Self-love. So I made this into a heart shape. Solving little problems calmly. What I mean by that is, like, let's say if I'm driving, I get so upset sometimes. Like, this person just cut me off and I'm upset. It's like, if I just deal with those little things calmly, I'm gonna feel so much more proud of myself, so much more at ease, like at peace. So that's what I mean by solving little problems, like little things that come up. So these were the 3 that I wanted to grow for myself. It has nothing to do with career or a job. So for you guys, it's up to you if you want to take this assignment and focus on your career or focus more on like personal attributes. So this was a little sketch, so you guys could feel free to create a little sketch yourselves to kind of just get the ball rolling. You could also skip the steps, it's up to you. And then here are examples of how to use the pipe cleaner. So in this example here, the person actually didn't, I don't think this is model magic or modeling clay. So if you don't have those supplies, it's fine. It looks like it just pipe cleaners itself. So I don't know how many pipe cleaners you have at home either, but you know, these are 3 different ideas of how to make these flowers. I'm going to also now go through it with you, and I have a link that I'm going to put in the chat so you could do it later if you can't follow along all the steps. So you, by the way, feel free to create flowers out of this if that's something you want to do, or you could create, like, you know how I made a heart shape? You could go outside the box and create like a different kind of sculpture. You could even find like items in your house and like add them into there, into the sculpture. It's really up to you. Like if you felt like you needed like a pom-pom and you had that, you could add that in there, or, you know, anything under the sun, basically, you could create into a little sculpture. And with the markers, one thing that you could do is actually write the goal, the mini goal, the seed on one side, and then on the other side of the pot, I was thinking, you know, basically what you're going to achieve. So mine was like family time. Mine was like solve little problems, and what I'm going to achieve is peace of mind. So I would write on one side, I would write that, and then on the other side, I would write what I'm going to achieve. That's just another option you could do with the markers. You could also decorate the pot. You know, you could make it really elaborate. Take your time with it. Go with the flow. So sometimes spending a lot of time on the art making also helps us think about what our goals are, and you know, think it through. So if you're feeling like I have no idea what I want to grow, just go to the art supplies, start playing around with it. Maybe something will come up. Okay. All right, so without further ado, it is 12:13, so we only have about 15 more minutes, correct, Melissa? I think you maybe stepped away. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do the different ideas. And then, yeah, and then again, like I said, you could feel free to branch out of what I'm showing you, okay? I do find that seeing somebody do it might be, you know, really helpful. So let me just put myself here so I could see what you're seeing. Okay. And all right. So I'm going to do the easiest one first, which was, it looks like lavender. So, you know, the colors are your choice as well. But I have a lime green kind of color and a purple color. For this one, you don't need to cut anything. And essentially what you do is just start, you know, like basically 1/4 of the way from the end. And you don't need to measure it or anything. And you just roll the color, the purple one, all around the stem. This is probably the easiest one. The main thing to keep in mind is you have to like really bunch it in together, just so that the green doesn't, you know, poke through. So that's just a little thing. If that bothers you, just keep it real tightly close together. And there you have it. If you feel like you didn't have enough like of the purple, you could just take another purple of the same color, whatever color you're using, to finish it. Or if you have scissors, you could just cut the tip. So I'm going to actually add another one. Adding two might also make it more like poofy. I think this is also a really good idea if you wanted to make, instead of flowers, if you wanted to make a cactus little plant, which the cactuses are really popular right now, the little mini ones. I see them in stores all the time. And some of them have really cool quotes like, I will survive. Like, cactuses are very resilient. They don't need much and they just are very strong and survive. So I'm going up to the top, to the tip, and then I'm gonna like continue all the way down again. Just use up that extra stuff. But and this, you could also cut it if you want to conserve on the pipe cleaner, if you had a different idea to do this. Okay, so let's see what I have. Ta-da! Eventually I would, you know, put it in here. You could put the clay right in there right now, and then just go ahead and like poke it in there like this. Or you could just create all of your flowers and then wait just a minute, okay? The next one,
And Deb, can I just say one thing?
yeah.
If you don't want to use the clay or you don't have enough clay, you can also use a little bit of the soil we gave you, or some soil in there if you want to make it more authentic.
Yeah, and also, like, you know, this basically, like, for instance, if I just kind of spiral it, I could just add this in here and it would stay in there, you know. So that's another, you know, possibility for now. You could even at the end get like paper and just like stuff some paper.
Yeah.
Tape. I mean, this is where creativity comes in. You could, and resourcefulness. So I actually had one already done, so I'm going to put these two aside. And the next thing I'm going to show you is the flower one that looked like, you know, your regular flowers. So for this one, you do need more pipe cleaners. So I have 3 here. Let me make it so it's organized so you guys can see. I have 3 pipe cleaners, and what you're going to do is create an X or a cross, and then another one. So basically a star at this point with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. Okay. Now, how do you attach these together? Well, this is how you do it. You just kind of lift it up and then take one section and bring it towards this one. You see how it's not the same size? It's okay. Let me see if this gets better. It's really bright, right? And then you take the one on this side and bring it out so that it still looks like, you see, it still looks like a star. And so I did this one first. Now I'm doing this next one, taking it this way. Now I have 2 on this side. I'm going to take the other one and bring it over. So it's just creating this nice little knot. And actually it's already together, but just for the purpose of being symmetrical, I'll do the same thing on this side. So now you have this big star. The next step is actually to just coil this. By the way, the ends of these pipe cleaners, you know, have that metal piece, so just be aware of that. So I'm going to try my best to show you this. You just kind of put the tip in and then just coil it all the way down towards, it's like stays flat, like a little fern, if you know about those flowers, a little swirl. And then just bring it all the way in. Okay, so this is actually a petal. I had already started this because it's a little time consuming. So I have 3 already done here. I don't know, it's so bright. I'm so sorry. I feel like you guys can't really see very well. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the other 3 while I have you. And I'm gonna do this kind of fast because I don't want to take up too much time on this. So it's not gonna be like that perfect. but you guys could take your time with this. It's very relaxing. I know that pipe cleaners might be like, oh, what does this lady think I'm a kindergartner? But you know, it's actually pretty relaxing of a thing. And if you go on Etsy, you'd be surprised. There's people making all sorts of amazing, not kindergarten things with pipe cleaners right now. Okay, so here's our flower, and it's extremely bright. I apologize that you can't quite see it. But now you kind of just place the petals however you want, and you would take a stem and loop it around however you want, and kind of just bring it together, twist it up, and there you have it. You have another flower. You're probably thinking this would be a really good gift to give to somebody. It definitely is. It's like a cute little touch. One thing we don't have too much time for is like the leaves, but you could get creative using this type of designs. You could get creative and, like, you know, add leaves however you want as well. So I trust that you guys could figure that out. how to add. You could twist it. You could kind of make the leaves you know, emerge. Okay, so I'm going to take this aside, and the very last one is a little more complicated. So it's a tulip, and I already have it set up for you guys, but I'll show you also. And you know what, I ran out of the red pipe cleaners, but I will demonstrate with the pink one. So you basically take a pipe cleaner, and just about a finger size length like this, you just fold it in half, and then you cut this part, cut the excess. Now, once you do that with the finger one time, you're going to just copy it again. I'm just going to make two for you guys, and fold it in half, kind of creates like a U or a V, and then cut the little bit of excess. Okay, so our tulip is going to be red, and by the way, you could make it multicolored. It's going to be red and pink. Let's add this one here. Okay, some of them are not the same size. It's okay. So this is the really interesting part. You're going to kind of align them together with the opening up to the top. And now you're going to take a stem. What's going to be a stem? And you're going to place it right in the middle, just like this. Now what? You're going to take a another piece of pipe cleaner and keep it on the side right here. Now we're going to bunch this all up as much as we can. Do you see it's already, look at that, it already looks like a tulip. And we're going to just, oh boy. Going to just kind of hold it like this and take that extra pipe cleaner and put it all together like this. It's just kind of sort of like a rubber band. You're just kind of putting it all together, and then you're going to cut the excess, or you could use the whole thing. It's really up to you. And there you go. Oh boy, I did this backwards. Hold on. The stem has to go this way. The stem has to go this way. And then you just start. No. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. It will all be in the link, but this just confused me for a minute. So now you're going to just pull the loops up like this. Yes, so I had it right the first time. I'm sorry, I got confused. So it's gonna go just like the loopity loops are gonna go up like this, and the middle stays the way it is. And you know, I'm doing this quite fast, so it's like some things are maybe bigger than others, and you know, that might be annoying. So like what I might do is actually cut some of the middle parts at this point, just so you guys could see how it does look like a tulip. Okay, so there you go. So I was right the first time, so never mind that I switched it over. So this is basically a little tulip. Okay, with the little closed round things at the top. That is about it for the 3 different types of flowers that you could potentially make. But keep in mind, you could also do like abstract shapes. You could add different materials. If you have different materials at home that you wanted to add, that's fine. It's really up to you. So this is it. We basically went to the very end. I'm just wondering, you know, what this is like, if this is exciting, if you started playing with it, if you have some ideas.
This is
Marissa
really fun.
liked it.
I'm gonna make a butterfly.
Oh, nice, nice. I love that. And I think someone on the chat, I don't know if it was you, said something about a butterfly quote. Is that right?
Yes, that was me.
That was you. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't catch the name. But yeah, this is awesome. I hear some people liked it. Yeah.
You can always go on YouTube and find other ways to use your pipe cleaners. So if you're not sure how to make a butterfly or a ladybug or other things, I'm sure you can check YouTube for how to make a ladybug with pipe cleaners, how to make a butterfly, caterpillar, whatever you might want to have in your garden.
You know, that's a really great idea. I mean, this is definitely how I get a lot of my ideas too. Let me go ahead and put this on the chat, the link to this project. There it is. It's not a video, but it's just like pictures. But sometimes actually, you know, everybody has their own learning style. Sometimes seeing the pictures is helpful for people. But if you use the videos, sometimes what's also helpful, and I'm sure you guys do this, is pause the video, then catch up, and then play. So either way, I hope you guys have fun, and don't forget to write down those goals or quote in the pot, and also have fun with like maybe creating like little details and designs on your flower pot. So it's your own unique goal that you're working towards.